Minister, the beef and dairy herd are to Ireland what the coal industry is to Poland, what the frack gas industry is to the US, a short-sighted cash generator, the expansion of which is undermining the chances of the survival of the planet, of the people of the global south as we speak, and in less than a generation, the people of the global north. We are food insecure in Ireland. We have been a net importer of food since the year 2000. The climate is changing as a result of our agriculture policy, and what's worse, we're not preparing for the change. Why are you not moving away from the monoculture that threatens agriculture itself?
2 minutes.
Deputy, I think the analogy between Irish agriculture and the coal industry is rather unfortunate, but Ireland has a comparative advantage in grass-based, carbon-efficient livestock production. The European Union Commission JRC report of 2010 found that Ireland is the most carbon-efficient producer in the European Union per unit of dairy production and the 5th most carbon-efficient in terms of beef per kilogram of production. Notwithstanding, inherent challenges remain for the sector in terms of contributing to Ireland's climate change and renewable energy targets. It should also be noted that policy development in relation to CAP has seen the decoupling of CAP direct payments from livestock numbers since 2005. The Government's current policy position for the agriculture sector is an approach to carbon neutrality which does not compromise capacity for sustainable food production. There are 3 strands to my department's approach to carbon neutrality: reducing agricultural emissions, increasing carbon sequestration and displacing and substituting fossil fuel and energy-intensive materials. An example of my continued focus on ensuring the lowering of the carbon footprint of the agricultural sector, I've recently launched a beef environmental efficiency pilot scheme specifically aimed at further improving the carbon efficiency of the beef sector. Sequestration also has a key role to play in reducing the carbon footprint in the sector, and my department has made significant investment under the forestry programme. In 2018, 106 million has been made available by my department to support afforestation and other forest initiatives. The sector also has a key role to play in the supply of biomass materials, adopting energy efficiency measures and renewable technologies on farm, as well as on-site energy generation, all of which can provide profitability gains which underpins the sustainable production system. My department continues to review options that will enable our farmers to transition to a low-carbon economy. The recently published Teagasc report, an analysis of abatement potential of greenhouse gas emissions in the Irish agricultural sector 2021 to 2030, is key to informing the type of measures we need to focus on into the future to continue to reduce the carbon footprint of the sector. While mitigation potential for agriculture is limited, agriculture can and must play a key role in contributing to Ireland's climate change and energy targets in the years ahead.
Deputy Wallace, first question.
The report from 2010 that you keep citing for years now to defend the green credentials of the dairy sector was rated only satisfactory in terms of the reliability of its data, and saying that we do beef and dairy better is like saying we frack gas better. Both the beef and dairy sectors and the frack gas sector are disastrously carbon emitting and have to be scaled back massively if we are to reduce greenhouse gas emissions globally. In terms of being climate or environmentally friendly, the Origin Green Farm Sustainability and Quality Assurance Scheme is starting to look like a joke. Origin Green certifies companies routinely shown up on the Environmental Protection Agency's worst offenders list over regulatory compliance issues such as pollution and wastewater offences. In terms of the beef data and genomics programme, I have not seen any scientific evidence to show that the scheme has anything to do with significantly reducing emissions. If you have any empirical evidence to that effect, I'd like to see it. What we have seen is the emissions rise in parallel with hard numbers. Minister, I spoke to a farmer and meat producer this morning from Limerick. Noel O'Connor's his name. He told me that beef farming is on the brink, and it's a direct byproduct of your decision to increase the dairy herd. There's too much beef animals in the country, and you're killing the beef farmers now.
Ministers, 1 minute.
You're trying to get rid of them.
I'm trying to help agriculture in the long term.
Listen.
You don't understand it. That's your problem.
Listen, Minister Dáil, leave it to Minister Creed.
Good Lord, what ignorance!
Stop. Listen.
If the Irish agricultural sector was transposed lock, stock and barrel to the UK or to France or to Germany or to any other industrialised country, where the average profile of emissions is about 10% of their total, the Irish agricultural sector would have the equivalent of what the UK is and other countries are at. We are leaders in terms of our journey to sustainability. Now, you argue that because, in your words, our livestock sector and dairy industries are akin to fracking or the coal industry, that we should dismantle the herd. What is the purpose of dismantling a carbon-efficient system that can and must do more, but that is, in global terms and in dealing with a global issue, what is the purpose of dismantling an industry that will then only see product displacing it on supermarket shelves that has a far higher carbon intensity? What we must do is, in terms of the production systems we have, become more and more efficient, driving down the carbon intensity per unit of output. And then in terms of sequestration, maximise sequestration through afforestation and appropriate soil management. And then as the third leg of the three-legged stool, to see displacement of non-renewable energy sources in the agricultural sector.
Final question, Deputy Wallace. 1 minute.
Minister, even Deputy Bruton and the Taoiseach are actually coming around to seeing a bit of sense about the fact that we have to deal with our emissions problem. But obviously, and I can understand it's difficult for you, given that the IFA are so powerful. And I'm not talking about dismantling the herds, but I'm talking about a change of policy so that we can get to a better place, right? I'm not talking about doing it overnight, no more than the Poles are going to stop taking the coal out of the ground overnight, or the Americans stop fracking gas, right? But we have to move to a better place. We've got to change how we do agriculture. And the agricultural industry in Ireland is worth saving. It's the only really strong indigenous industry in the country. And you know what? You're going down a cul-de-sac with it unless you actually start taking remedial measures and going in a different direction. It just doesn't make sense, and you can deny it till the cows come home.
Right,
you know
okay.
what I mean?
Minister,
it just isn't sustainable the way we're going.
Thank you. Minister, to respond.
I mean, do you admit that the fact that now there is too much beef, the cold storage units are jammed with beef, right? Is that not a byproduct of your decision to increase the dairy herd? Because you can't get calves without milk, without calves.
Members have a right to raise questions later. Minister, to respond.
Deputy, this is a complex issue, and it cannot be boiled down for the purposes of a soundbite to simple, simplistic political messages. But when you're in this space of pointing fingers, I am not a climate denier. But I do acknowledge the limited potential that's in the agricultural sector, and we will squeeze out every piece of potential that is there to drive down the carbon footprint and make our industry more and more efficient. But your alternative vision, and you come from a constituency in Wexford where the agricultural industry thrives in terms of dairy, beef, the tillage sector, your vision would see that rural economy in Wexford a wasteland. This is our biggest indigenous industry. I didn't interrupt you, Deputy. This is our biggest indigenous industry. It is, relatively speaking on a global scale, carbon efficient. It can and must do more, and it will do more. But it won't close down and have the product that you would put out of business displaced and replaced by beef from South America, or by dairy products that have a far higher carbon footprint.
Now, we've got to move on.